Hey, it's Brock here with Rock Hill Farms, and for the last 45 days, I've been doing a controlled test between WD-40 and Rust Patrol. And today I'm going to share the results with you. So, real quick, before we do that, I'm just going to tell you what this product is in case this is your first time hearing about it. Rather than just talking off the top of my head, I'm just going to read you this little paragraph off the Rust Patrol website. Rust Patrol was invented in Houston, Texas by Dr. James Tour, a preeminent scientist in the field of nanotechnology. And I'm going to interrupt the middle of that paragraph just to say that the reason that I'm enough of a believer to bring this product on my channel and make another video about it and talk about it so much is the guy who invented it. That was one thing that really caught my attention. You do a little research on Dr. James Tour. He's a brilliant guy, invented a lot of stuff. Looks like he's working with graphene now as a replacement for lithium batteries, the next evolution in battery technology. But that's what caught my attention about the product. Anyway, let's read the rest of this. It says, Rust Patrol uses nanotechnology to work better, faster, and longer than any other thin film temporary coating on the market. Actively seeking metal like a magnet, Rust Patrol forms a bond at the molecular level, giving more complete coverage. It's tenacious. It doesn't wear off easily. 100% American-made sourcing. Our chemicals, cans, bottles, labels, and blending all of it right here in the United States from our warehouse in Fort Mill, South Carolina. We ship product all over the world. Okay, so that's what they say it is. I wouldn't say it at all like that. I'd say if you got something that you want to not get rusty, you spray this on it. You got something you want to continue spinning or sliding, spray some of that on it. But I'm a huge fan of WD-40. For the last 20 years, I've always had WD-40 in my shop or wherever I work. I've been using it forever. So for this to replace this, it has to be better. So let's go ahead and show the results of our test here. So to begin with, you see this bucket says control on it. A lot of rust in the water. Can't tell how much of it is stuck to the tools. Then we have our WD-40 bucket. These were wiped down with WD-40 before being put in the salt water. This one says Rust Patrol. This stuff was sprayed with Rust Patrol before being put in the water. Now you can tell you have a lot more rust in these buckets, but I don't know how much of that's on the tools. So in my original video 45 days ago, we put these into the buckets on the video. And if you want to see the whole thing, the owner of the company, the owner of Rust Patrol, actually came here to Kansas from South Carolina to tell me about this product and to show it to you guys. And we did a long video. I think it was a 25, 30-minute long video where we went around and found some stuff that was stuck and like a pipe wrench that was all rusty. And we used the two products to try to free those tools up. And I thought that was a pretty good video. But what I wanted after recording that was to do my own test. So at the end of that video, we got these buckets out. We mixed salt into the water. And then we put these items in it. What we have here is a hinge, a crescent wrench, got an Allen head bolt with a lock nut, and somewhere in all this rust, we have a regular bolt with a regular nut. Okay, same thing in this bucket, but these products were sprayed with WD-40 before being put on there. I bought identical products of each of these, and they were all brand new, never been used before. So, it's about the most controlled experiment I could figure out how to do. Now, in that other video, I also showed an experiment that Rust Patrol set up that's probably smarter and more thorough than this, but I wasn't there. I didn't see it. I wanted to see it myself and show you guys as well as I can. In their test, they hung the items, these little metal plates, like from a string, and then coated them. And they had like 6 products, where I'm only doing 2 products. They had a whole list of products. They were all coated with these products, and then they sprayed salt water on them every day. And the difference there that makes that smarter than this probably is, as I was looking in these buckets, I was like, none of these tools rusted as fast as I thought they would. And I was thinking, you know, it's because they were completely submerged as opposed to, you know, just getting wet. Like if something's rained on and it's getting air exposure and the water exposure, and then it dries out and then it gets rained on again, I think that might actually make them rust quicker. But these were all done exactly the same way, fully submerged in water 45 days ago. And the only difference between what we put in them was, in the Rust Patrol bucket, we put a PTO shaft. I thought, besides just testing it on these tools, you know, PTO shaft is something I would actually use this on a regular basis. And we'll clean these off and see how much rust is actually on each piece. But the PTO definitely still slides pretty smooth and easy. Alright, let's go ahead and move these out of the way just so I can reach everything a little easier. Alright, we'll start with our control. This was new tools, new bolts, new hinges. Just put in a bucket of salt water and left alone. I actually would come in like once a week and kind of stir the water up, pick them up and look at them a little bit, but you know, that's 4 or 5 times since they've been put in there I've messed with them. Okay. This still turns. Let's get a close-up on each thing. So, you can see on our control, we've got rust here, a rust here, got rust there, rust here, but it still turns fairly smooth, which is surprising to me. Okay. And the part of it that I don't know that much about is metal composition and things like that, but that's like a chrome vanadium or whatever the term is. It's plated to resist rust, whereas this bolt really isn't. It's got all this rust on it, but I can still turn the nut. A little bit squeaky, but obviously the hinge still moves. We've got all this, I think this is like surface rust, but it's got a lot of rust on it. And again, this is a treated material meant to resist rust. Okay, here's our control bolt. Completely covered in rust. Will still turn. Okay. Now we have WD-40. Minimal rust on the hinge. Got a little bit here. Not too bad. This bolt has a lot of rust on it. And the part that isn't rusty is white and corroded. But big improvement. WD-40 protected this bolt from rust. Okay. Now this one, the crescent wrench. I don't know how well you can see those threads. A lot of rust on the threads. A lot of white gunk buildup on there. Not terrible though. The WD-40 once again looks better than the control. Okay. There's our bolt with WD-40. Very minimal signs of rust on this hinge. Okay, take our bolt, just a pat down. So let's look at the bolts. We have control, Control, WD-40, Rust Patrol. Here's this bolt. It's all pretty well clean. So, Control, WD-40, Rust Patrol. This one's really clear. I mean, look at that nut on there. Look at those threads. "45 days in salt water." And our crescent wrench. No rust on our thread piece, our turner. Very smooth operation. There is no rust at all on this tool compared to this tool and this tool. PTO shaft off of a flail mower, 45 days in salt water. Oh, this has a certain way it goes through. There we go. 45 days in salt water. No rust. We got just a little bit here where the cut was actually, but primarily rust-free, smooth sliding after 45 days in salt water. So, my original video on this was long, and we talked a lot about why the owner of the company thinks he has a better product. I really do read every comment on my videos, and I try to take them to heart and really think about what's being said the most. Most common complaint in our first video, which was a long video where the owner of the company gave a lot of his reasons why he says this is a better product. Most common complaint was, this is too expensive. So a can of this might be $14, $15. This can of this, it's like $10. A lot of people are thinking of the fact that this used to be like $4. Well, the big can at a box store is actually at around $10 now. But the question I would ask is, what is a fair price for a product that doesn't work? You say, well, my tools are rusty, but I didn't pay that much. So you have to factor that in. A quick note on those prices. You can pay anywhere between $6 and $14 for a can of WD-40, depending on the size of the can and what kind of straw it has on it. And it's hard to know which one of those to compare prices to, because the claims Rust Patrol makes is that it takes less of the product to provide the same amount of protection. Anyway, I appreciate you taking time to watch this video. I'll put links on the screen to more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.